Chapter 7. Munch Munch, Jungle for Lunch. Up until this weekend, I had but one whippersnipper, aka line trimmer. It was fairly cheap, electric, took most of the day to charge up, lasted all of about 4.5 seconds when you finally had it powered up, and instead of cutting grass, it sort of depressed them with its inadequacy to do anything. And somehow that made every second blade of grass slightly lean over, in possibly more humour than actual fear. Thankfully, my wife spotted the bargain of the century in the local Facebook buy, swap and sell pages. Yeah, something I want in there, that's a rarity. And a short trip combined with $20 later netted us Grass-Burning Fury 2000. That's its Japanese name. A petrol-powered whippersnipper that talks the talk, walks the walk and spins death at 20,000 RPM. Actually, its real name is Ryobi Grass Scorpion. The scorpion refers to the soul of one very angry giant scorpion imbued in this instrument of death. And the one I picked up on the weekend looked like it had spent most of its life in Satan's spare oil barrel. It was that drenched in both oil and grime at its unholy union, oily grime. The previous owner seemed like a nice chap, and he was more than happy to fire it up for me before I handed over my 20. A tip for new players, always get them to do this when buying a second-hand trimmer, just in case they're trying to flog off a dud. On the third chord pull, it roared to life, and I swear the ground shook, almost knocking over the rest of the garage sale. Brilliant! Now, I must have the Lost in a Black Hole of Death prototype on my hands, as this one seems to be fueled with a ratio of 25:1:1. That's 25 parts methanol racing fuel, 1 barrel of Croatian crude oil, and 1 wayward serial killer soul. Every time you hit the primer button, an orphanage catches alight, and after 8 burning buildings, you can pull the cord to flood the engine with a great torrent of unbridled hatred. From there, the wrestling match begins, as you fight for both control of your garden and your very soul. While it sounds like you're risking your life going heave-ho with this bastard son of a mechanized demon, it does its job like nothing else and hacks into grass like a frenzied samurai. Now, with the original Grass Scorpion, they suggest wearing safety goggles. With this demon-imbued Grass Despiser, nothing short of heavily plated SWAT armor should suffice to avoid impalement by blades of anything and everything it flings back at you. Oh, and a spare priest on hand to read last rites probably wouldn't hurt either. Seriously, grass goes absolutely everywhere when this thing plows into an overgrown weed patch, and because the grass was slightly damp when I snipped it, I got drenched in a tsunami of liquid so green it'd get Kermit the Frog excited. Did I mention that it smokes? I'm not sure if it's old fuel in the block, a few seals on their way out, or perhaps remnants of the section of ozone layer I burnt through trying to turn it over, but when it's in full swing, it puffs like a locomotive having a rough afternoon. If I was in the Sioux Indian Nation, I'd probably have started World War III with all the signals that I was sending out. Still, I can't complain in the slightest for the price nor the quality of my latest purchase. Top brand, works well, bargain priced, and suddenly all the feral cats in the neighbourhood have mysteriously disappeared. Now, who needs their garden trimmed?